Hello, youth, and welcome to me explaining to y'all how to do APA in-text citations and APA reference pages because your practice isn't really going the way I want it to, and I figured if I made a YouTube video for you, you can kind of pause and edit your stuff as necessary. So, for the purpose of this assignment, we are going to pretend that I have told you to write an essay on why Harry Potter is so awesome, and you need to have a couple of sources in this pretend essay, right? First things first, we're going to check that our font size is 12 and that our font type is Times New Roman, because again, that's the biggest APA option you have. And then we're going to do a couple of in-text citations. So, let's say, Harry Potter is awesome, right? Because we're always going to lead into a quote. We're not going to do any quote dropping, but I need some evidence to back this up. I found this article, Why is Harry Potter So Famous? By Serena Thomas, published in 2024. And let's pretend I want to quote this right here. People adore Harry Potter's adventures. Sure do. We have a couple different ways that we can do an in-text citation for this, and I'm going to show you my favorite one first. I like doing the author and the published date before the quote because I think it looks nicer. It flows better in an essay. So I'm going to say Thomas 2024 explains, and then I'm going to do a comma, quotation mark, put in my quote here, delete that period because it's going to go later, end quotation mark, and now, typically what should go here is a page number, but we have a problem. This is an online article. It doesn't have page numbers. So I'm going to tell you what I would do in this situation, which is to indicate the paragraph that I found my quote in, because it's paragraph 1. So I'm literally going to write P-A-R-A, which means paragraph, period, 1, and parentheses, period. Make sure your paragraph is lowercase, right? And you're going to put your period here and not here, because this is technically what ends your sentence. Okay? So, with that, we have other options. What if you don't want to make your essay look nicer and cleaner, and instead you want to just dump all of the information right at the end of your quote? That's fine. I'll show you how to do it. So, instead of a period here, we're going to do a comma, okay, because again, we are leading into our quote. Still delete that period though. And now, this is a normal in-text citation. You're going to do the author's last name, the published date, still do paragraph 1, right? And then you do your period at the end, okay? So again, both of these options, totally fine. Just want to teach you how to do both of them. But I'm going to teach you a bonus thing in this video that I didn't teach you how to do in your slideshow, which is a thing called, here's one, a block quote. So what if I want to quote something that is longer than 30 words or longer than 3 lines? Like maybe this whole paragraph. We'll take this, I guess. There's a way to do it, and I'm going to teach you how. So, to do a block quote, you're going to do some of the same things. You're going to say, Harry Potter is awesome, right? If you want, you can do either of these, okay? I'm going to do it this way because I think it looks nicer. So, Harry Potter is awesome. Thomas 2024 states. Now, because my quote is so long, I'm actually going to do a colon. I know, crazy. I'm going to put in my quote, okay? And then, here's the thing. I am not going to manually count however many paragraphs that is, because that would be an insane waste of my time. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the section title of my quote, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste it in here, And then I'm literally going to write section, okay, and parentheses. Now, I know what you're thinking right now. You're thinking, Miss Hartley, that period? Yeah, that period should be here. Not in a block quote, honey. In fact, we have some other things we need to do because it's a block quote. First thing we need to do is we need to take this bad boy, right? And we actually need to indent it over. I find the easiest way to do that is to hit this button right here. You can do it manually by hitting the tab key over and over again, but why would you do that? That's a giant waste of time, right? Another thing, obviously, technically, this whole thing should be double-spaced because we talked about APA, right? The whole thing should be double-spaced. In order to do that, you go to Format, Line and Paragraph Spacing, Double, right? And then, final thing that I could mention here, let's pretend like if this section header was like really, really long, you can actually shorten your section headers if you want to, but this one wasn't super long, so I kept it the way it is. Okay, so with that, this was an example of a perfect world where we had our author and we had our published date, right? But what if you find a source that has neither of those things? This is some weird random blog I found. And let's pretend I want to quote this sentence. Harry Potter, capital H. Yep, okay. So, in order to do an in-text citation, if you don't have an author and you don't have a published date, it's kind of the same thing. We're going to lead into the quote, Harry Potter is awesome. But, because I have no author, this option, off the table. I have to do this one, okay? So, what I'm going to do, Harry Potter is awesome. Stick in my quote here. Yep. End quote. So, because I do not have an author, instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the title of the work. But we have yet another problem. That's too long. That's way too long of a title. So I am going to shorten it. But we have to do one more step because technically this is a short work. It needs to go in quotation marks, right? Because it's just like a random article I found online. If it was a book or something, I would do italics, but it's a short work, okay? So I have a shortened title of the work, right? Still need my comma here. Still need a date. Problem, there is no date. Alright, so in order to deal with this problem, you're going to do a lowercase n, a period, a lowercase d, a period, a comma. This stands for no date. Okay, so now, instead of the author's last name, we have a shortened title in quotation marks. Instead of a date, we have n.d. And now, just like last time, we still need to tell where we got this quote from. Again, because I have it from paragraph 1, I'm going to write para 1. And parentheses, period. Ta-da! So, with that, I've officially taught you how to do all kinds of in-text citations, right? Even if you're missing information. What do you do to make a reference page? Well, first things first, you're going to make sure you're on a brand new sheet of paper by clicking enter a bunch of times. You're going to center your little cursor here. You're going to write references, okay, because we have a couple references. Notice it's centered, it's capitalized, right? You're going to go down to a new line. And I taught you the other day, right? I taught you about this beautiful website that thankfully makes making a reference page really easy because you can just paste in the quote that you found. So, it's going to take a second to load. It's going to be like, is this the website you want? You're going to say, it sure is, and hit cite. It's going to be like, this is all the information I found using AI, and you say, good job, and hit continue. And then it's going to say, hey man, does this look right? And you're going to kind of scroll through. You're going to be like, yeah, it does. I like saying to display the URL because it makes it like blue and clickable, but you can do it later if you forget. Now here's the problem. We need to watch an ad. Back in my day, you had to pay money to do APA citations. And you still can if ads really bug you when you're in college and stuff. But we need to watch an ad. Because I don't want to pay money. I'm tired of paying money for this stuff. What can I prattle on about while we're watching this ad? Harry Potter's cool. Even if the author isn't cool, I still think it's a worthwhile thing. Oh, perfect. Okay, now that our ad's done, it is going to shoot out a beautiful citation for us. Copy citation. Put it onto our little thing here. Wait a minute. We have some problems. First problem, why did it put it all the way over there? No, it needs to be flush. Remember, 1-inch margins. Second problem, why isn't our link clickable? Super easy fix. You just put a space after it. But most importantly, this does not have a hanging indent. You say, Miss Hartley, how do I fix that problem? I'll teach you right now. You're going to go to format. Okay, you're going to go to align and indent. You're going to go to indentation options. You're going to hit special indent, hanging, 0.5. Apply. And look, it automatically made a hanging indent for you. There's a couple other ways you can get it to do that, but I find that to be the most reliable and easy, right? There's a cute little space here. But that's not the only reference we used in this paper. We also used this janky one. So we're going to copy it over. Gonna paste it in here. We're going to start this process over, right? Yes, fantastic. Okay, so this is where things get a little tricky and why you can't trust the AI. I'm going to bet like $1 million that this author's last name is not Noah Wrights. Maybe his first name is Noah, but I don't know. What if it's an alias or something? I'm not risking it. You need to go in and you need to check that the AI actually did a good job. I'm going to delete that. His last name is not Noah Wrights, okay? So I'm going to keep kind of scrolling through. Is all of this right? Sure is. And then I'm going to hit complete citation, right? And thankfully, I don't have to watch an ad this time. Copy it over, right? Paste it in. Paste without formatting. Do a space to make your link clickable. Perfect. With that, you have a nice reference page. It's double spaced. It's got hanging indents. Wait a minute. What is that A doing there? Get rid of that. Wait a minute. It found the publish date for us using the magic of AI. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here, and instead of having our ND, I'm going to put in 2024 because thanks to the magic of the internet, we actually have the publish date now. Awesome. Okay. I'm going to triple check because this is a reference page that it's in alphabetical order. It just so happens that this already is, I think. I think W comes after T. I'm like 90% sure, right? And honestly, she's beautiful. She's done. Thank you, guys, for watching. I apologize that this is kind of long, but hey, maybe it'll help you one day when you're like in college or something. Okay. Bye. Thanks. It's me again. I found a mistake. I was like watching it back and I was like, why isn't this italicized? Yeah, this should be italicized right here. And it did it right. Like it did it right on, where'd it go? On here. It's just, I guess when I copied it over, I think I did, like paste without formatting instead of normal paste. Yup. I did a normal paste. Yup. So be careful. Don't do what I did. Make sure you do a normal paste, not paste without formatting. Because yes, this should be italicized. But hey, don't worry, I caught it. You can catch it too. Okay, thanks, bye. For real this time.